Little Miss Recap contains adult language and is intended for entertainment purposes only. Hi, everyone. If you're a listener of this show, you heard me talk about the memoir Alive Day, which I've really been kind of raving about. It's so good. Well, I was lucky enough to have a chance to meet the author and to interview her, Karie Fugett, about her book, about her process, and we cover a lot of ground. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. And please, if you're able, purchase the book. You will not regret it. It's called Alive Day. So here is my conversation with Karie Fugett. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Little Miss Recap. My name is Amy, and I am here today with Karie Fugett, who is the author of the book that we are talking about on Little Miss Recap this month. We've never had a book selection before. This is the first time. And one of we call our listeners backdoor friends, and one of my BDFs sent me Alive Day, which is your debut memoir, correct? And I fell so in love with it. I forced everyone else to read it, and I didn't have to force hard because everybody else is loving it. And so I wanted to have you on and just kind of talk to you about the book and your story and the process, and hopefully get your story out there so more people will buy this amazing book. And so, Karie, welcome. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, I took some questions from my listeners, and we will get to those. But one of the questions that I always ask, I've interviewed a lot of writers, and I've interviewed a lot of and I've worked with a lot of students who are writing their memoir. And one of the questions I always ask is, when did you know you were a writer, and who is the teacher that said it to you? Because there is always a teacher that says it to you.
I second guess myself constantly. So I think it took me way longer than it should have to feel like a writer.
Yeah.
But I will say the first time I got a publication, I guess, even though it was a tiny little journal in Birmingham, and it was this like extremely mediocre poem that I wrote in one of my undergrad classes, I felt like, oh, someone likes what I'm writing and someone else is reading it. So maybe that means that I'm some sort of writer, I guess, even though it doesn't feel like it yet.
Yeah.
And then the first teacher who really confirmed, or at least the first teacher who made me see myself in that light, I guess, like really consider myself as a writer. Her name is Dr. Walker at University of South Alabama. And I think she did that with so many of her students there. Like that was her gift.
One of the things I loved so much about your story, and I always say I'm a memoirist who loves memoir written by poets. It's like a weird intersection that I'm real into. But one of the things I loved is that we see your journey to finding yourself as a writer. And that's one of my favorite kind of endings, is always when you have our heroine or our protagonist or whomever like finding their way to the passion that they're supposed to have. So did you sort of go into your MFA program? Because I'm assuming this came out of your MFA program, right? This project?
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Seed of it was planted probably in undergrad when I was in board's memoir class, but then yeah, it really took root in the MFA program. This is what I pitched to them and what they accepted, and yeah.
So did you know going into it, like, I need to write a memoir about this experience?
At that point,
was that the plan?
I was like tunnel vision, because I didn't think I'd get into an MFA program. Honestly, like I applied to one, and I was kind of feeling burnt out, and they're hard to get into anyway. But when I got in, I was like, okay, the universe is saying go, and I'm gonna put all my energy. I'm gonna put all the eggs into this basket now and just see what happens.
Did you publish some essays from it first?
I did.
Is that how it kind of came out into the world? So can you share with me like what was one chapter or one part that was an essay that was out there in the world first?
So the first one was actually, it might have actually been undergrad, the seed, the one that I applied to the MFA program with. That one was published in Cosmonauts Avenue.
Not even sure it still exists.
I've never heard of it.
I know. Well, because that's, a lot of writers, you start with just like these little
Yes.
journals that are mostly volunteer based and
Mm-hmm.
are super cool. Like if you go to AWP, they usually have like a table and
Yep.
they're really awesome, but a lot of people haven't heard of them. So it's not like a ton of people had eyes on my
And they're
work.
not well supported. So like a lot of them go under
No,
once people
they
leave.
do.
Yeah,
They
it's
do.
really sad. Yeah.
Um, so that was the first one, and that kind of got my foot in the door to if, once one person publishes something, you can kind of use that to publish
Mm-hmm.
other things because it builds your bio. But the publication that helped me get to where I'm at now was in a journal called TJ Eckelberg
I
Review.
know it well.
Do
Ray
you?
Bryant, right? Is she still running it?
I'm not sure. This
Okay.
was years
She
ago.
published something of mine years ago that
Okay.
I absolutely
Okay.
loved. Yes, I
Yes.
loved her.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're super cool, but
Yeah.
again, it's small. If you know, you know, but otherwise
If you
it's
know,
like,
you know. Yeah.
yeah.
One of the really interesting things I wanted to ask you is I wrote in a similar subject to you. I had to write about my ex-husband and it wasn't a good marriage, right? So you really write Cleve with such empathy and grace, and you really managed to sort of show where some of the problematic issues between the two of you or with it, where they stem from, where they're coming from, and the external factors at play. But how did it feel to be in that world again, like to immerse you in that relationship? Because I wonder if was it a form of therapy, to go through that again?
Yes, it was. It wasn't necessarily my intention for it to be, but there's a reason why therapists tell you to journal, why there's like
Yeah.
writing therapy courses or whatever. I think, at least for me, the unintentional product of, or the unintentional thing that came out of this was that I was able to, I think when I turned my life into scenes and thought of myself as this character and started to think like, what is her character arc? Like, story am I trying to
Mm-hmm.
tell? And, but having to use my actual life and myself, it really, for me, was therapeutic to see myself outside of my own head, like you get
Yeah.
so into your head about who you are, the mistakes that you've made in the past.
Yeah.
For me, I can really steep in shame if I let myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt a lot of shame for a lot of the things that I did because I didn't always make choices that I loved later on. I was like, what was I thinking? What was I doing?
Right. Yes.
But when I saw it like that, I was like, wait, this happened because of this, and then this
Mm-hmm.
happened because of this, and this happened because of this. And also, wait, I'm like, in my 30s now, this person is a teenager. Like if
Right.
I met, and I know teenagers now, I have friends who have kids that are teenagers. And when I started thinking of myself not as just like this bad or good or whatever person who is stagnant, and I really started to find forgiveness for myself, I guess, and that
Yeah.
changed my life.
That's really interesting because I think people who come out of toxic marriages, toxic relationships that they got into young carry that shame for so long. Like that's a great way to put it. Like I was steeped in shame, and
Mhm.
writing my book helped me to realize, oh, little baby Amy was only like 20 years old. What the hell are you talking about? Like
Yeah, you
I
kind of
have
want to give that
18-year-old
person a
girls
hug.
and I'm like,
Yes.
my girls can't make informed decisions on relationships right now. Whatever.
Becoming a mother is a huge part of it
That's
too. I think,
huge.
I had her before I was able to actually finish the book, but I was like
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of it. And I kind of I'm like, I don't know if I could have finished the book without that perspective. I mean, not to say that it
Yeah.
would have been impossible, but it really, really helped set that in stone because I'm looking at her and I'm like, she could have done any of this and I would still love her. I would forgive her. And I'm like, why
Yes.
wouldn't I extend that to myself? You know?
Yeah, that's what I was just hit with when you were saying that. There's an ability to forgive. Like
Mhm.
you forgive yourself, but you also forgive him, right? Like there's a
Yes, we
greater
were both.
sense of forgiveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
For him, what I go back to, I guess, is like, when he died, his story ended, right?
Yeah.
And I, on the other hand, was given this opportunity to rewrite mine, become who I wanted to become, try to be better.
Hmm.
So when I think about him, I really I have nothing but love for him. And mostly I just wish that he had had that opportunity to start over,
Hmm.
and to grow up and to mature and to like figure out who he is and like experience the world beyond Foley or war, which is all he ever had.
Yeah.
There's
I will say as a reader, right, of the book, that like your love for him comes across. We're
I'm
screaming as
so glad
readers. Yes.
because that was a terror, like that was one of the hardest things for
It
me to
absolutely
navigate.
comes across. Like we are screaming, girl, no, you need to get out of this. Like 48-year-old me is screaming that at you in this book. But I also am like, but she loves him so much. And there's so much that's lovable about him. And it's just such a hard balance to get that right. And I just feel like you nailed that. Like we're
But
just like,
that's like that has been the biggest relief. I was terrified that people would see it
yeah,
as like the hero and like the villain or something. And I'm like,
no,
I want to make sure he's not a villain. Really, I didn't want anyone to be a villain. It's just you have all these people in this like complicated world
yeah,
where it's just not super easy for anyone to navigate and everyone's just kind of like running into each other. Um, yeah, but that
yeah.
was one of my biggest hurdles.
Did it take did it take a few drafts to get there? Like, did it take a few drafts to get the objectivity you needed to give the situation yourself and Cleve like a little more grace than maybe you had originally given, or was had enough time passed that you were able to get there pretty quickly?
I think there were definitely drafts, but honestly, I think I gave myself so much time to like overthink it and panic. I mean, because when you're talking about if the seed draft or whatever, the
Mm-hmm.
little whatever thing that I published in undergrad, that was in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Then I didn't finish the final draft of the book until 2022 or
Okay.
2023.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all of this time to just like overthink it, to talk about it in workshops. And a lot of that I wasn't writing. I wasn't even doing anything to like rewrite. I was just freaking out and honestly writing things outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
The scary parts, I kind of waited until later. The
Yeah.
scary parts for me,
Right.
um, which there were scary parts scattered throughout the book for me that I just was like, I don't want to touch that yet. I'm going to overthink it for literally 10 years and then I'll come back to it.
Sounds like a writer.
Yes. But honestly, once I did get to it, after my daughter was about a year and a half, and I weaned her off of breastfeeding, and I was like, that mom fog was starting to dissipate a little
Yeah.
bit. And I was like, okay, I have a deadline to get to. I started to just write in a way that I really haven't before, just started hammering it out. And
Mm.
surprisingly, I really thought that I was going to have to go through a million drafts after that. But we did one draft where we had to like rearrange some of the stuff because I was trying to be all like fancy MFA and be like jumping around in
Of
time, like
course.
doing
Of
all this
course.
stuff.
Yes.
It doesn't work for this. Like it didn't work for this at all. So I
Yeah.
had to like redo the timeline. But other than that, it ended up just, I think I had given myself ample time to figure it out in my mind and to make sense of things. So once I sat down to really write those harder parts, it kind of just came out.
Yeah.
So for the most part, what's in the book right now is
That's great. That's really good. Yeah.
but
So let me ask you, like, were you always drawn, and we talked a little bit about before we start recording, like, were you always drawn to memoir? Was there ever an inkling in your mind that maybe I could write a novel about this?
there were moments, but it wasn't because I was like, ooh, fun fiction. It was more like, I don't want anyone to know my life.
Yeah. Right.
It's scary. Like I could give them all fake names and like
Yeah.
fudge a couple of things over here and over here. And then I still think it could be like a cool story, but then people won't be like judging me as a human as
Hmm.
they're right as they're
Yeah.
reading it.
Yeah.
But then I started to think about the why of writing it, and I do genuinely think that humans sharing stories is how we improve as like a whole.
Yeah.
And this was a story that I hadn't really seen that I needed when I was in the hospital. And so I just kind of came to the conclusion that like if I fictionalized it, it would kind of defeat the point of why I was writing it in the first place. So
That's a
I
good
just
point. And it's
committed
incredibly brave of you though to make that decision. Because there is a lot that comes with memoir.
many years. It there is, and like, I do get reviews sometimes like I
Sure.
didn't like her very much. So
Sure.
I'm gonna give her 2 stars and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, not everyone can like me. That's fine.
I mean, I wrote a memoir about being a fat person. You can only imagine some of the reviews I
On
get. You
it.
just have to kind of, I don't know. I always tell myself for the one person I reach, it's worth the 10 people that hate me. It's fine.
It is. I actually do feel that way. I mean,
Hmm.
and part of it is probably because I had been publishing things ahead of time, and especially once I started to get things in like Washington Post, New York
Yeah.
Times. That's when I really, I got my first person that would like found my social media and was like trying to like was kind of stalkery, just like hated me and wanted me to know.
Yeah. They always
Blamed,
want you to know.
yes,
Hmm.
blamed me for my husband's death. Like that
Hmm.
was a really tough one. But I think
Yeah.
once I got past that and was able to compartmentalize, like this is the internet, like that could have been a bot for all I know. And even
Yeah.
if it wasn't, it was probably someone living in his mom's basement, like eating Hot Pockets
I
with
was just going to
beer.
say, was it a man? Yes, of
Yes,
course
of
it
course,
was.
it's always
Yes.
men.
Yes.
Sometimes the women will say things, but they're like usually a little kinder about it. Like,
Yes.
I really like her, but I can see she was a really great writer too. You know,
The
no.
random internet man just wants you to
Yes, they
know
want
he hates you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that you're a terrible person and that
Yes.
you do not deserve to sleep at night.
Like,
Like,
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is though. It is an incredible act of bravery. But I'm like you, like I've always been drawn to real stories and true stories. And I went on a real kick in my when I was doing my undergrad of Vietnam memoir. Like I was real into it and everything. And I don't feel like we had much memoir coming out of later, anything in the Middle East. I mean, I'm sure there was, but that's what stuck
our
out to me about your book was I'm like, people are not talking about the millennials who did this,
right,
right?
right.
You're a millennial, right?
I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
an elder
Yes.
millennial,
Yes.
whatever.
I'm
Jerry.
a baby Gen Xer. So yeah.
Um, yeah, I have actually I have a friend, Matt Young, he wrote Eat the Apple. It's dark, it's funny, it's poetic. I love it, highly recommend it. His though is about being in Iraq.
Okay.
A big part of that too though is like he sort of self-scrutinizes because there was a lot of toxic masculinity involved. He was
Yeah.
doing a lot of stuff that was questionable and he kind of like the coolest thing about his book to me is that he was almost willing to like put himself on the table and dissect this problematic thing that he was or this existence that he was in
Right.
this really smart, funny way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry, that's just like
No,
a
no,
shout.
no. That's a good point because I should clarify. Like these memoirs were not coming across my world, but
Yeah,
they're out there.
they
Absolutely.
are.
Yeah.
But as far as like, caregiver, like from the caregiver's perspective
Mm-hmm.
or like a military widow, there's fewer of them, if any, and a lot of them too. Sometimes it's hard to find ones that will be critical of the situation. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times they feel obligated to be more like, hell yeah, the
Yeah.
military,
Yeah.
motivated, whatever. But finding these that are like 20 years out and looking back and going, wait a second, that wasn't okay. And like sharing those experiences with honesty in a way that might even make you look bad is probably that's rarer, I think.
Well, I feel like you managed to thread the needle of criticism for the system, but Cleve's love for his country and the
Yes.
importance of what he did,
Yes.
right? And how he was very um motivated to do it.
He was. He
Yeah.
absolutely was. And if he was here and he was talking about his service, he would have probably had I mean, I don't know. It's been years now. His birthday was actually a couple days ago and he'd be 41, but he probably would have kept it all positive.
Mm-hmm.
He loved the Marines that he served with.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that he did get from the Marine Corps. Like he was able to get out of Foley. He, was able to see a lot of things and experience a
Yeah.
lot of that he wouldn't have before. And I know he was grateful for that. At the same time,
The
there
system let him down.
the system let him down.
Yeah.
And the further out that I get from it, because at the time I didn't really have the energy or even the knowledge to like really look at it and like critique what was happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking back, I'm just like, this country goes to war, what, every 5 to 12 years or something like that? Don't
Mhm.
quote, like, that's not an exact, but it's something like that. Like, we're
Yeah.
constantly going into a new war. We know what happens. The guys get PTSD, they get amputations, they do all
Yep.
this. Why do we wait until the news catches on to people dying to start fixing the problem versus doing preventative care, like going into it like we need to make sure we have the counselors, we need to make sure we have like we already know. I'm obviously not a politician, I'm not a
Well,
historian.
one of my listeners wants to know if you'd consider running for office with all of your knowledge.
I've it's crossed my mind. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna lie, but I'm so like I actually am ADHD, and one of the problems with that is I'll be really, really, really motivated and like focused on something and like
Mm-hmm.
perfect at it, and then
Mm-hmm.
like a month later so exhausted and just kind of like flaky, and like I wouldn't want I have to be honest with myself at this point in my life about
Yeah.
what I can do and not like it's one thing to disappoint people in your life, but like
Mm-hmm.
that would be a huge commitment and like that would be just like a huge disappointment to let so I don't know what I'm capable of, but it's crossed my mind, especially in the South where we have a lot of the same people running over and over and no one running against them. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the problems that we have just continue on and
Just
no
keep
one's
going.
acknowledging it. It bothers me for sure.
Yeah. Your book is the advocacy out there. It's going to reach the people who need to hear it.
I hope so. I feel like I don't know. I mean, it seems like the people who it is reaching, it's resonating with them, and
Yeah.
that means a lot to me. How to get it out more, I'm kind of at a loss at this point, and that's kind of where I'm like, should I be putting more effort into
Mm-hmm.
pushing this, especially right now with what's happening politically,
Yeah.
the VA with Iran. There's just like so much that's affecting veteran families right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm watching it and just thinking like, oh my God, this is going to be a train wreck. Like all of these pieces, if
You
it
feel
all
like it's deja vu almost. Like,
does,
yeah.
because you're gutting the VA and then playing around with potentially going to war with Iran at the same time. Like, what is going on? Like, that makes
Yeah.
absolutely no sense. If anything, we should be preparing the VA, preparing, all the military hospitals or whatever for that possibility so that when people inevitably are wounded, they have the resources they already know they need because we've already seen
Yeah.
it. We know
Yeah.
what they need. I can tell you what we needed because I was there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. And it's just such whether you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever, we do not need more wars in the Middle
no.
East. We don't need that. No,
And I
it's not popular
most
on
of
any
us
side.
like feel that way. I
Yes.
feel like I don't I don't sign up for either. I really hate this like two-party system that we have, and I
I
could
do
get
too,
into
but I
that
mean,
forever. But
I'm gonna clearly pick one over the other right now.
right. Yes. I try to think of it though, like I'm looking at the politicians and the ones that
Yeah,
align most with my values. Those are who I'm going to vote for, but also
agree.
it's game because if you vote for an independent, the likelihood of them winning is so low, and then that almost ends up a vote for the other. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
horrific game.
I know.
But you just do the best that you can within the system. But I don't know
Well,
where I
and
was.
you feel like soldiers should not be pawns in that game. Like
Mm-mm.
these are the people. And it was interesting when you said, like, there is this sense of if you criticize anything about our military, you are not patriotic.
Yes, I've been called all sorts of things. Even though I'm a military widow, I
Mm-hmm.
spent 4 years taking care of a wounded Marine. I wrote an entire book about how we should be taking better care of, military and their families. And yet people will call me unpatriotic all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even just for criticizing our current president and things that he's doing.
Yep.
Um, it could be like I try really hard because I'm in Alabama to both speak truth, at least my truth, and talk about what I believe to be right, wrong, moral, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But also be like a bridge between, because here, it's very, you're either MAGA or you're not, you're
Yeah.
Republican or Democrat. It's just
Yep.
so divided. But like what I see is a lot of people who need a lot of the same things. And for whatever reason, they're thinking of it almost like uh, sports teams. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to fight for my side. And I'm like, I think at the end of the day, though, don't we all just want food and like a decent place to live? And
I
like,
so agree. I have fought this battle forever with the gun violence thing. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican if a school shooter
right,
comes into your school. Doesn't
yes,
matter.
right. And I think people also forget. I mean, one of the things that I realized much later, like years after my MFA even, and I was like finishing up the book and like doing research on all of this. But one of the things that I realized and hadn't really clicked with me is there's this huge divide in our country between those who serve and who our country kind of expects to serve, and then people who have nothing to do with the military. Like they don't know anyone in the military,
Right.
they don't think about the military.
Mm-hmm.
They almost even think like that's not me, that's not my problem
Yeah.
because that's them. They serve, they do that. Um, but that's a problem, right? Because we all are citizens in this country that benefits from the system that it runs on, whether it's a good one or a bad one.
100%.
Just because those people are the ones doing the fighting, shedding the blood. I mean, really, like they're carrying the burden for all of us, and the people over here are just benefiting from that and acting as though it has nothing to do with them. Some of them even might feel like they're above it. But it's just not true. If you're in this country and you are benefiting off of the system that this country runs on, that is your burden to carry too. And if you're not going to fight, you should at least fight to take care of those people who are carrying that for you. That's how I feel about it anyway.
It's very well said. I completely agree. Little Miss Recap will be right back after this break. For ad-free episodes, visit littlemissrecap.com/support. Amanda,
Amy.
for our sponsor, Lumi Gummies today, I have an idea. I think we should do a rapid fire bonus round. Which 90-day celebrity stars need a Lumi Gummy or have taken a Lumi Gummy maybe?
Okay. Madeline.
Oh, I have her on my list too. Manon. Manon could really use indica.
Yeah, to calm her the fuck down.
Just calm down a little bit.
I think Jenny could use a sativa to maybe up the energy a little bit. 'Cause there's none there.
Funny you mentioned Jenny. I have Sumit's aunt can use one to
definitely
chill out a little bit.
She definitely could use one. This is a wild card. Florian could use one. I don't know what I don't know what variety.
Yeah,
but
maybe
I feel
he
like
needs a hybrid.
I feel like Florian on a gummy would be good.
Yeah. I also have Dylan's mom from Dylan and Patia.
Yeah.
And I have Luke's dad, of
Oh,
Luke and Madeline?
yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
And we can use Lumi gummies as well.
Yes.
Yes.
All the time.
Consistent, mellow, and super delicious, Lumi gummies are specifically designed to make you feel good, not stoned. Whether you're looking for an end of the day de-stressor, a midday mood boost, or help getting the best sleep ever, Lumi gummies has a strain that's right for you. So, Amanda, our flavor that we like a lot in this home is the sour strawberry cookie hybrid.
Ooh, is it particularly sour?
It's not super sour because I don't
Okay.
like sour things.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I just find that it's the perfect blend of up and down. It's right in the middle.
Nice.
But you feel good. I really like it.
I'm a hybrid girly myself, and I'm going to go with the watermelon sorbet because I do enjoy watermelon, and it's just a nice, cool, chill evening of watching TV.
You know what I need to do? I need to take one before Sister Wives comes out.
Yes.
Before I meet my arch nemesis.
Yes.
In the ring.
Yes. I think it would help you a great deal. I think it would help Cody Brown a great deal.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Guys, Lumi gummies are available nationwide. Go to lumigummies.com. That's LUMI gummies.com. Use code Little Miss Recap for 30% off your order. That is Lumi Gummies, LUMI gummies.com. Code Little Miss Recap. Lumis.com. Code Little Miss Recap. It's 30%. And the link is in the show notes if you guys need it. Can we move into some of my listener questions?
Yes.
Okay. Has there been pushback from yours or Cleve's families since you started sharing the story?
It's
a loaded question.
Not from my sisters already knew everything about it, and I really collaborated with them a lot to get the childhood stuff together. I actually collaborated with my parents a lot too to make sure that was good. But now my parents and I don't have a relationship for reasons. So I don't know. I heard through my sister that my dad read it. I don't know what his reaction was exactly. But I haven't heard anything. The only actual reaction that I got was from Cleve's ex from the chapter that is called Fucking Lisa.
Yes.
Fucking Lisa read the book within a week. I really didn't even think she'd know about it. Like, I don't know. And I changed anyway, she was not happy.
No.
But then Cleve's brother reached out and was like, just ignore her. He'd be proud of you. She's not over stuff. It's whatever. But that was the only thing.
Okay. So that's good.
For the most part, I've got support from his brother, my sisters, it was just the one. And even with her, I can imagine that was hard to read. And I think that I really didn't want her to read it. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I was just, memoir's tough, that was a pivotal moment for me and Cleve. It needed to be included for our story. It really wasn't anything against, we were kids. I have nothing.
Again, you were all teenagers.
Yes. And I was being true to what was going on then, which I was immature, whatever. But anyway, that was the only thing.
No, I get it. Can you speak on the importance of the widows support group and share some things that you wish people on the outside could do to aid, comfort, support loved ones going through a similar? So there's kind of two questions there. So what did the widows support group mean to you? Are you still connected to that community?
I actually just visited Lulu in Salem a week or two ago. So we keep in touch. And I saw Leanne, the medium that I spoke to, just technically, but just saw her again. But anyway, we keep in touch, especially me and Lulu. And that support group, so it was American Widow Project, founded by Taryn. Forgot her last name. I'm having a brain fart. But it's another military widow who was like, we need support. And she just created it.
And it's only for military widows, right?
It's only military widow, but it's any military widow. So I met everything from car accident, cancer, everything. She didn't, and there are other groups that are similar. They try not to, they're not trying to alienate. It's we're all in the military, we're all grieving. Let's just support each other. But no, that was a game changer. It changed my whole life. I was able to process what I was going through a lot quicker. Because yeah, being a really young widow in a world where like no one else, like everyone's partying, everyone's like, you just kind of, you feel so isolated. But with them, we were able to have like weird, like like angel versaries where we're like,
right.
And we had like weird inside, like dark jokes and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just sort of normalized it in a way that I really needed in order to move past it.
Yeah. So we asked if you would run for office. We talked about that. What is something that you would share with young adults entering the armed forces, or the young spouses of somebody entering the armed forces? This is a tough one.
What would I say to them?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with serving at all. I think that if you're informed and you know what you're getting yourself into and you understand the possible consequences, the pitfalls, as well as the pros, whatever, if you go in informed and it's still something that you feel passionate about, go for it. Like the military does offer a lot. It does offer a lot that you can't get in other places. And, there is something to be said about supporting your country in that way. However, I guess I would go out of my way to make sure they were very, very, very informed about what they were doing. And I would want to know what their reasoning was, because if it was if it was just to start over or get out of their town, I would be like desperately trying to find other options for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish there was like some kind of panel or something that you could like go to and they'll tell you what it's going to be like. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. Because knowledge is power. I think that we were brutally honest about what could possibly happen. And not just that, I think people go in knowing like I could go to war and I could die. But I also think there's this assumption that the military in the meantime is going above and beyond to take care of the service members and their families, to meet all their needs, to make sure, but that is not true in my experience.
Yeah.
Everything is, even it like they'll say this is something that you could have, but then they create the craziest obstacle course to get to it. It's like little things like that. Like there's a part in the book where we're moving to Birmingham. He's about to retire and I need help with movers. And I'm talking to the person in charge of him or whatever. And he's like, you know what? Instead of trying to get all the paperwork done with the military to get movers and get the military to pay for it, you should just contact a nonprofit because it'll go faster.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
And these nonprofits are funded by who? Us, citizens. Like we are getting our money.
Well, it's like we crowdsource medical care now. Like that's a whole thing.
Right. And really that just means that it's one more thing that like we are carrying. Like they promise to do this thing, is really to take care of family members and service members in exchange for their service. And yet somehow they aren't even managing to do that. It falls back on us through
even the simplest thing, like helping us move.
Yes.
So I really appreciated the little hints of bureaucracy that you put in there. It felt it was necessary. Let me just put it that way. Like it would slow down the pace a little bit and we could feel your frustration. And I thought that was very effective. I really do, because there's that, we kind of know in our collective knowledge that like the VA is overworked and it's bureaucratic and there's a backlog, but you don't understand what those words mean in practice until you're like, I'm a widow trying to get a moving truck to move us to a different town and it's going to take 3 years. So I think that was that was a good idea to put all that stuff in there. And was that an intentional choice or?
It was intentional. My editor had me add in even more and really like emphasize it. I didn't realize, because in my mind, I'm like, is this going to be boring? Does anyone care? But when she was reading the first draft, because especially the part where he, you get an injury and then it's like rated, and then
Yes.
they like take all of these like, and they
Yes.
the most insane math problem that I still don't understand. And even though half their body is messed up, they still get 80% because
Yeah.
whatever. But and having to file and refile, and she was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What is going on here? Like, we need more of this because this is like, I didn't know about this. And I was like, okay, if you're interested in that, there was a lot of that going on. I tried to sprinkle in a little more, even down to when I was widowed and, a volunteer had to drive up to Birmingham from Montgomery to sit down and help me do the paperwork. If he wasn't there, I never would have filled out that paperwork. I'm telling you right now. I mean, maybe 10 years later, I don't know, but I just tend to be the type of person, it's a flaw, but if something is extremely overwhelming to me, I will pretend like it doesn't exist.
Well, and especially, how old were you at this time?
24.
Yeah. Like, you're expecting a 24-year-old to sit down and jump through all these bureaucratic loopholes? Like, no way.
I mean, I felt, I'm going to assume that most people would feel this at least to some degree, but like my husband just died. And now I'm not only thinking about how I can get money from it, whether it's to survive or not, which at the time it was, like I would have gladly crawled into a ditch and just sat there and just let whatever happened happen. I just didn't have the motivation to take care of myself. So thank God that stuff was there. But when I was thinking about it, I'm like, it just felt like disgusting to me that I just buried my husband and now I'm going to the military asking for benefits, as they call it.
Right. And you have to go and ask.
Go and ask and like fight for it and like argue for it and like act like you're entitled to it. And all of it just felt really gross. Like I really, really, really struggled with it. So thank God this man, wherever he came from, like I still don't exactly know how that was set up, showed up at my house and sat on my living room floor with a stack of paperwork and just didn't get too into what was going on. He was like, we just need to fill this out. I will file it for you. I will make sure it's going through. And he handled all of that.
Nice.
And it worked out. But yeah, if it was just me, I don't think I would have had the stomach for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the military knows that they won't have to pay a lot of these benefits because a lot of people just aren't going to follow through with
that's
like
gross.
The mountain of paperwork and whatever.
It's gross.
It is.
I have two questions to round out. Number one is, what do you hope people take away from this book about Cleve?
Cleve and just people that have similar backgrounds to them. I hope that people walk away with maybe a little more empathy for folks who grow up in certain areas with a certain amount of resources or whatever. Like, I think it's so easy to look at people and just make a split judgment based on their belief system or whatever decision you're making without really thinking about like how they got here and how really a lot of these problems are systemic and things that we can, all of us, if we come together and work together, we could actually like help fix that. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Like this is about all of us. It's not just us versus them. Like this is a systemic issue. These people will come from a very specific place. There's a reason why they do and believe the things that they do.
Yeah.
That are directly related to the way our government runs.
And this is one of those issues where, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like if we want to make change here, it's at the voting booth, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, we need to support survivors as well in other ways, but to change the system, I think that's where we need to start.
Yes, voting, absolutely. Like so many people just like don't vote, and that's a huge problem. And then there's also issues with our voting system, you could get into.
You don't say. You don't say.
If I was to pick one thing that people should really rally behind, in addition to voting, it would be to end campaign finance the way that it exists right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
This seemingly unlimited amount of money being poured into politicians. It doesn't matter, again, if you're a Republican or Democrat, unless you are a billionaire and you are able to fund these politicians to get your way, you should be very upset that those people, very few people, have so much control over our politicians. Because the politicians if money equals winning, like the more money you have, very likely if you have more money, you're going to be the winner. Suddenly, what are they motivated by? All they care about is money. And
100%.
people who are funding them have agendas. They are going
that sometimes involve war.
Yes,
overseas.
Often involve war because these people make money off of war. And a lot of people don't understand that either. But who is making the weapons? Who is making all of this, it's a business. War is a business. And some people make a ton of money off of it.
Yeah, Dick Cheney.
Yes. So when you consider that, I'm like, our government, no matter what side you're looking at the end of the day, they're working for the people who are paying them. And that is a huge problem. So yes, show up at the voting booth, but also we have got to do something. We have got to rally behind this campaign finance problem.
I agree 100%. It's probably our number one problem in politics right now. All right. This is the question I'd like to end on. I've been thinking about this since I finished the book.
Okay.
From one memoirist with a daughter to another. Will you let your daughter read your book?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had people question it. I come from a family with a lot of secrets. That never helped my relationship with my parents. It never helped me. I think that when my daughter is old enough, maybe we'll do it with therapy on the side or something like that. But I don't think, even though I made questionable decisions, I did some things that are going to be embarrassing and weird to talk to her about.
Same.
But at the same time, I'm like, this is me. I'm just a human being. This is why I made these decisions. I think that there could be some really, I think a lot of good could come out of it. I think we could actually bond over it. I hope.
I completely agree. I always think, because my girls are 18, they haven't read it yet, but I think it will be coming. And I always feel like what I wouldn't give to have 400 pages of my mother's inner thoughts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? To just unlock the mystery of her. Yes.
My hope too is that my daughter would read this and be like, okay, I don't have to be afraid to talk to her about things because she has clearly experienced whatever. And it's true. She could tell me anything and I would not judge her. My whole entire goal would be to just help her process it, help her not have to carry whatever it is for the rest of her life, and carry the kind of shame that I did, which
it can bury you.
It can. And it starts to make you believe that you're not good enough, that you're bad, that you're whatever. And when you start believing that, you start making decisions based on that, right? So it's almost like self-actualizing. I think I'm a bad person. Well, I might as well just be bad or whatever. It's just not. And also you end up in toxic relationships. It's just such a terrible cycle to be in. And I am constantly thinking about that with my daughter. I'm like, I want her to be comfortable in her own skin. I want her to forgive herself as much as she possibly can. Of course, I want her to be kind and empathetic. But also not just to others, to herself.
Well, I think that you've given her a great gift in this book because it really is, it unlocks who you are. And we all are mystified by our mothers on some level.
Right.
So I think it's pretty neat.
I will let her read it and it'll be a little bit of a science experiment for me because my family is so secretive, but I'm hopeful that it'll help us become closer.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I could talk to you for 3 hours.
This has been great.
The book is Alive Day. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at your local independent bookstores, please. And where can people find you? Do you have a website?
I have a website, kariefugett.com. Probably the best way to contact me though right now is Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. But yeah, from my website, I also have like a contact form and all that.
Okay. I'll put all your social stuff in the show notes, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This has been great.
Thank you.
And good luck with the book. I'm telling you, I think I'm going to be covering the series in another year or two.
Well, I hope so though.
All right. Thank you, Karie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Little Miss Recap. If you'd like to support the show, the best way you can do that is to join our Twin Flame universe, which is our Patreon, Supercast, and Apple subscription feeds. The links for those are in the show notes. You get ad-free episodes and a ton of bonus content. You can also subscribe to the feed so you don't miss an episode, share the show with a friend, and leave a 5-star review. To contact the show, please email me directly at amy@littlemissrecap.com or join our Facebook group Backdoor Friends. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.